All right. Hello everybody. I'm AnyThingWorx, and welcome to my video of me ranking every Hell's Kitchen winner from worst to best. Now, uh, unlike other reality shows where it's pretty easy to separate the good from the bad, Hell's Kitchen is a bit different considering that it's all about cooking and what they decide to show and not show. And while this is partly true for other reality TV shows, it is a lot more important for what we see for this show, considering the criteria I'm basing this list off of, which are general consistency in service, challenges, the finale, their standouts, and their uh, their pass, which is like the semifinals. A caveat to this is that I will not be ranking the season 1 through 4 winners because the way those seasons were treated and the amount of talent that are in those seasons is way too different. There's no quality control for the talent whatsoever, which makes it very difficult to rank them amongst the other winners. If I had to rank them in their own little bubble, it'd be Michael for being the most consistent winner in the show's history, despite his relatively middling challenge record and his all right finale. It'd then be Christina McAmer for her great standouts, her amazing challenges, really good finale, and having the best pass of the season despite her inconsistencies. Then Rock for his lack of station diversity, which is why he's third and below Christina McAmer. His relatively mediocre finale. Uh, it's a lot better compared to Bonnie's though, and just like not really good challenge strength overall, and like barely having the best pass that season. Well, second best anyway. And then finally is Heather West for her god awful challenges, her mid tier finale, her all right pass, bad consistency, despite her without a doubt her great standouts. That being said, let's go ahead and get to the bad winners, in my opinion. Which there is, well, I'd say like probably only one of. Uh, that is Michelle Tribble from season 17, the All Star season. Now, in the All Star season, there was a pretty big gap compared to other seasons when it came to talent because these were all previous black jackets that ranked from either 6th through 3rd, which means that you don't have any previous runner-ups, but at the same time you have a good, like really good quality control. And despite that, Michelle seems to still be in the mid-tier echelon when it comes to the returning All-Stars. Obviously, she's above people like Ben, Jared, Amanda, uh, Josh, those kind of people. But even comparing her to Elise, who got a lot better from season 9, um, Elise is better than her in nearly every category except when it comes to challenges. And even then, she barely beats her in them. Michelle does not have that many good standout moments. It could be argued she has maybe 2 or 3 standouts. And most of the time, it's small things such as getting a refire accepted after a short delay. And her consistency is noticeably worse than some winners that we'll be talking. The most of the winners actually that we'll be talking about here. Her leadership is non-existent. She had a bad charity night. Her pass was the worst of the final 4, and she barely got into the finale because of the final 3 bullshit. And if they were to have a final 3, it should have included Millie and not her. Her finale is also the worst out of any winner of the season. She was very bad at delegating. Nick took over for the better part of her finale, and he managed to screw up compared to Benjamin, who had a better overall quality control despite his team's god-awful performance. For those reasons, Michelle is, in my opinion, without a doubt, the worst winner in the history of the show. Sorry about that. That was a mistake. Anyways, getting to the second worst winner of the show, in my opinion, is Nona from season 8. Now, even despite the lack of talent in season 8, I don't think Nona is as bad as many people claim her to be. Don't get me wrong. She's still a very lacking winner, and I will not back down from that. However, I do believe that she should be noticed for her decent pass, her relatively alright finale, her good standouts when she does have some, her borderline dominant challenges outside of 2 or 3, and despite her very bad consistency, I'm pretty sure she's worse than Michelle in that regard. I still think she's all right for a winner, and she definitely deserved to win over Russell, whose finale was pure garbage, to say the very least, even after a strong start. There's not much to say about Nona other than she's pretty mediocre for the most part, but I do believe that she gets a bit too much hate in the community and that she's vastly superior to Michelle. Third worst winner in the show, Janelle Witt. For one, Mary was better than her, believe it or not, even in consistency and standouts, which Janelle barely had any to begin with. Her leadership was pretty good on the pass, I won't doubt, and as far as I'm concerned, her challenge record is the best out of any winner on this list. She has like one mid-tier challenge, and that's about it. However, with that being said, her finale was bad. She gave up basically midway through, and her picks for her final brigade were baffling to say the very least. And even despite Mary's frazzled performance, her kicking out Dan was new to the series, and she showed greater assertiveness and competitiveness, especially compared to Janelle. I will give Janelle some props for being relatively consistent, despite Mary somehow beating her in that regard. But Janelle overall is very lacking when it comes to winners, and that's why she ranks as the third worst. Everybody from here on out is either pretty good to excellent, I'd say, and even if my next pick will be really controversial. In my opinion, the fourth worst winner is Christina Wilson. Now, before y'all mass dislike brigade me for putting Christina this low, I will say this. After her time in the show, she's definitely probably top 3 winners of all time. Given her time in the show, however, she is very, very underperformative and very disappointing by comparison. Outside of her signature dish, she didn't really have that many standouts and challenges. Her consistency is laughably bad for a winner. Even counting her first night, which she probably would have been eliminated had Tavon not been the fucking train wreck that he is. Her leadership is all right. She didn't really shine until the pass, however. And even then, she had a few bumps in the road thanks to her friendship with Dana. And her finale is, well, it's pretty bad. Justin should have won by comparison. And it doesn't help that Justin is miles better than her in every category, including the finale pass and everything along those lines. And it's unfortunate that Christina has to rank this low because of my criteria, because I'm not ranking them based off of how they did outside the show. I have no doubt in my mind that she's probably second or third best winner of all time when we consider what's happened outside of the show. But considering what happened in the show alone, she is, without a doubt in my mind, the fourth worst winner. Fifth worst is Holly Ogledy from season 7. Now, Holly's generally considered to be the top 3 worst winners, along with Christina McEnroe and Nona. And I've already disagreed with Christina's placement in that regard. And I'm going to disagree with Holly's placements in that regard. Her consistency is generally unmatched outside of like maybe a few winners. I mean, given that she wasn't seen that much, it's not surprising. Her challenges are pretty good. She kind of stumbled within the team phase during the beginning and maybe middle portions of it, but she bounced back heavily during the Black Jackets. And her pass, well, is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. And her finale is really fucking good. Her finale is basically what carries her above the previous 4 winners, because without a doubt, she has the best finale out of the top 5 winners in my top 5 worst winners in my opinion. And her very good consistency, despite her lack of standouts and middling pass with pretty good challenges, I think that her finale, above all, if nothing else, carries her to the top of the top 5 worst winners. Getting into winners that I do believe make the cut, Corey from season 19. I don't like Corey that much personally, but one cannot deny her talent in her standouts, which are decent to say the very least. Her pass, which was fucking incredible. She got both sabotages and she caught Cody's sabotage before he even got a chance to, or even after he had the chance to, rather. And in general, her challenges are pretty good, despite the Mexican and Italian disaster that she had. Her consistency is marked down by the Final Four service, considering how god-awfully she did on the meat station. And that one time when Ramsey voided her nomination for no good reason, when she actually screwed up that service and caused the red team to lose. But other than that, she's relatively consistent. She was seen helping her teammates from time to time. Unfortunately, her standouts aren't the best. when it comes to that regard. Her charity night was pretty good, and her finale is a nice, decent 7 out of 10. However, she doesn't really have anything else all that special, in my opinion, which is why she ranks so low, especially compared to how other people might rank her. Up next, Scott Cummings from season 12. Now, I'm probably gonna get some hate for putting him as the seventh worst winner, or rather the ninth best winner, especially above people like Christina Wilson and Corey. But one cannot deny Scott's standouts are probably objectively the best, especially when it comes to leadership. Scott undoubtedly has the best finale in the history of Hell's Kitchen and the best pass. Without a doubt, the best combination for leadership. Even if it took him a while to get there in terms of his leadership, he has objectively the best highs when it comes to them. Uh, Speaking of highs, he has a really good challenge record, despite his poor signature dish and middling, to say the very least, challenges later on in the middle of the season. He was a big risk taker, and he was known for having great quality control and having Ramsey standards, which is incredible for a winner. Unfortunately, what mars him down by quite a bit is his terrible consistency. Anybody who knows that Scott probably had one of the worst strings of luck when it comes to nominations in the show's history. And while some of them were valid, some of them were stupid. But one cannot deny that his consistency is pretty bad, with 20 mistakes overall in his service record. However, despite that, I do believe that the rest of the stats that I've talked about, especially leadership and challenges, do have him as a deserving ninth place winner. So that's why he's ninth place in my opinion, and not within the bottom five. After Scott is Paul. Again, I'm probably gonna get some hate because a lot of people don't like Paul. But let's be honest here. Paul deserved to win. Not using the overall argument because I think that's stupid when it comes to the finale. Paul undoubtedly had a better finale than Will. Was it great? No. It was like a 6 out of 10 at best, and Paul was very lucky Will shot the bed for the season 9 finale, which, in my opinion, is the most disappointing finale in the history of the show. Paul's leadership highs are pretty good, despite his horrible pass, to say the very least, and his relatively just decent finale. But his consistency and standouts, along with his very strong challenges, put him above Scott, especially considering how good his consistency is outside of his one bad fish station service and the one middling black jacket performance that he had that one time. One might argue that Scott should be above him. I'd understand it, but for me personally, I'm putting Paul in 8th place. After Paul is Kimberly Ann Ryan from season 16. Most people know her as Ryan because that's what she was known as on the show, but she went by her last name to avoid confusion with Kimberly, who was 5th place. Ryan has one of the best challenge records on this winners list, maybe outside of Janelle and later winner we'll get to. And overall, she's pretty good. She has really good consistency outside of her very disappointing blue team performances. Her bounce back into the Black Jackets was very surprising, even if she had the mediocre pass relatively. But her finale is really good, and overall, her amazing challenges and really good consistency elevates her rather to not 7th. This is actually 8th place. I was messing up order before. Sorry about that. But despite that, her standouts aren't exactly the best if she has much at all. But I do believe that her general consistency and good finale, along with her strong challenges, puts her above the rest of the winners. After Kimberly Ann Ryan, we're having Trenton Garvey from season 20, Young Guns, who is the most recent winner and the first male winner in damn near 8 years. However, despite this, I don't think he's all that worth the hype, in my opinion. I do believe Megan had the better finale than Trenton, without a doubt. His pass was very mediocre, and he did struggle a bit during the finale. However, his downright amazing challenges, his good consistency, and his great standouts, even if they are few and far between, surely do elevate him to the 7th place, even if I do believe that he is pretty damn overrated. With that being said, though, even though I do believe Megan deserved to win, he was definitely the 2nd best chef on the season, maybe 3rd if you think Kai is better, which is fair. But his amazing final tasting performance with a 48 out of 50 definitely says a lot for his damn good challenge record. With that being said, let's get on to sixth place, and it's going to be Dave from season 6. I know he's not in the top 3 or even top 2. Some might just rank him as the best winner, even though I think that's blasphemous because his challenges are fucking awful. Before the Black Jackets, Dave undoubtedly had the worst challenge record for any winner on the show. Despite this and his middling finale performance, as well as his past, his consistency is damn near unmatched for any winner in the history of the show. His leadership highs are undoubtable. His standouts are very good. And overall, he made a pretty good comeback when it came to challenges. And let's not forget, he did the entire damn thing with one arm. That, and the fact that he only has 2 mistakes max during services, is very surprising, especially, again, considering he only had one arm for most of the competition. And quite frankly, he does deserve all the praise that he gets, even though I do feel that he's a tad bit overrated. Fifth best winner, which will definitely shock you, Ariel Malone from season 15. A lot of people don't like Ariel because because her personality was not likable. She was actually considered to be the main, or at very least secondary villain in season 15, along with Jackie and Frank. And I can definitely see that. She threw her teammates under the bus a couple of times, especially in regards to Mies and Chad, although one could argue that both were at fault for each time she threw them under the bus. Her standouts are really good. She has really great challenges. Her pass was fucking amazing. And her finale was also very good. Danny did not walk out of the finale, according to both Ariel and Danny. But even looking outside of that, her managing Jackie to get good, along with her great quality control during the finale and her good pass, in my opinion, gets her to the top 5 winners ranking. That, along with her no-nonsense attitude, led to her being a very strong team player, despite her 2 sabotaging moments. And she even got along with her arch nemesis, Kristen, during service, because they're just both that damn good of chefs. Would I argue Kristen deserved to win? Hell no, because Ariel had, without a doubt, one of the most dominant finales in Hell's Kitchen history, and I, quite frankly, could not care less if she was a bit of a bitch during her time in the show, because her talent speaks for herself. Moving on to the 4th best winner, Ariel Contreras Fox, from season 18, Rookies versus Veterans. And, well, I think she's a tad bit overrated. Many people would put her as the 2nd best winner. I don't think so, personally. She has good consistency, but she had a few bumps in the road. Most notably setting up a completely raw fish during one of the blue team post-switch rare lost services, and her having rubbery scallops in the semifinals. But despite that, she's pretty good. Her challenges were absolutely dominant, not having a single bad one in the slightest throughout the entire competition. She had a really good finale with most of her teammates not making any mistakes outside of Scott Lee, and she dealt with him pretty well too. And that it also goes without saying she had the best pass that season, and she was also the most consistent that season, even if her standouts aren't, well, really that existent. She was more of a mentor to Mia than really much of anything leadership-wise throughout the season, but her highs, same thing with Scott's, do elevate her to being one of the most dominant winners in the history of the show. The 3rd best winner, Danny from season 5. In my opinion, the go-to season if you should start watching Hell's Kitchen. That's besides the point. Danny, despite his rough-ish first service, he bounced back almost immediately. He has fantastic standouts, great leadership moments, downright amazing challenges, despite his terrible signature dish, his pretty damn good finale, and even despite his pretty bad pass, all things considered. His standouts really do elevate him to the 3rd best winner. That, along with his, maximum amount of 2 mistakes throughout the entire competition. And one would argue that Dave should maybe be above him because Dave had one arm. But in my opinion, the better finale, better consistency in terms of the veracity or the velocity of the mistakes that each of them made. And the challenges, especially, along with the overall leadership component, definitely does bring Danny to be the 3rd best winner, in my opinion. The 2nd best winner, and I will fight for this until the day I die, is Latasha from season 13. Not only an underrated season in of itself, but Latasha is also an underrated winner. She has the best standouts, bar none, out of any winner outside of number 1, which everybody knows who that is. Most of her standouts include delegating her teammates despite her not being at the pass or during the finale. She treated her teammates with respect and even helped them with respect and took over stations that were struggling, especially for people like Frank and Sterling, who each were very inconsistent. It doesn't count for why she's second, but her personality, in my opinion, is without a doubt the best out of any winner. She was bubbly, she was fun, she was very funny. Her finale is really good. Her pass was second best of today's, and in my opinion, she held the most competitive finale along with Bryant, which speaks volumes, especially considering the amount of bad finales we've had and the amount of good ones we've had also. Her consistency is very good, with very little mistakes, despite her decent-ish challenge record. She never won an individual challenge, but came pretty close. And despite her very awful signature dish, she did hold a very good amount of standouts when it came to challenges as well. Without a doubt, her standouts carry her to the second best winner position, and it's no wonder that she got to work with the number one winner after both of them won. So, surprise to absolutely nobody, Megan from season 14 is number one. It speaks volumes that in a very talented season, such as season 14, Megan still stood above and beyond against the rest of them. Even against a valiant opponent like T, who also had a very good finale, Megan absolutely destroyed her in the finale. Despite her middling pass, given that she didn't catch either sabotage, she led effectively well in every service that she was in. Even during her service, where she made one mistake, which is her only service mistake, might I add, she bounced back from it extremely quickly and was seen being a driving force for the blue team winning. When she was switched over to the blue team, they lost 0 services. And every time that the red team lost, she was never even remotely considered for nomination. Her challenges stand above and beyond above the rest, maybe with exception to Ryan's, Ariel's, or Ariel Fox's, or Janelle's. And it's pretty damn telling that her worst challenge is like, what, a 7 out of 10? It's very surprising how she lost 7, or maybe 9 challenges in a row. That, come to think of it, thanks to her bad luck when it came to this, when it came to the team switch, especially considering that Josh got to go on 7 fucking rewards in a row. But that's besides the point. Megan, without a doubt, stands above and beyond the rest for her doubtless leadership skills, her lack of competition despite being in the most talent-filled season that Hell's Kitchen has ever seen to date, her amazing consistency, and her excellent standouts. In my opinion, it should not be fought over who is the best winner. Maybe you could fight over second and third, maybe even fourth, fifth, and sixth. But in my opinion, nobody, and I mean nobody, comes even remotely close to being the absolute dominating force that was Megan Gill on Hell's Kitchen. So that was my winners ranking. Where would you change some of the rankings that I listed? Obviously, I might know some, especially Christina, Dave, and Holly and Paul. But even with that being said, I stand by my opinions. I do believe that my criteria was fair and unbiased. And in my opinion, this is the definitive list. Outside of not counting the first 4 winners, considering the difference in seasons and talent in general. But with that being said, folks, thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and like. Please leave a comment below about what you thought of the tier list. Please leave a like. It does help the channel a lot, believe it or not. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope my presentation was enjoyable. If not, let me know what I could change. I'm AnyThingWorx, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.